Hello and welcome to Never Found. This is your daily update, the transfer news. Lots to dive in today. A lot of news. Paqueta to Man City on. Kepa is going to Bayern Munich. Man United finally selling Harry Maguire. Fees agreed between West Ham and Man United for Harry Maguire. Tadibo, Pavard to replace him. What else? Big news, I think.
Fred might be going, to Fulham. Who else is there? West Ham want Ward-Prowse, even though we're not going to really talk on that too tough. Tapsoba is on the list.
Fourth bid for Harry Kane, 95 million fixed fees plus bonuses. They will be tempted to sell
95 million
Harry Kane. Pounds.
Really?
95. Go look at it. Fourth bid incoming probably today for Harry Kane. They will be tempted to finally sell him because of the deadline. But I'm here, of course, guys. Hit that like button for us. We just started and it's 200 people. I'm expecting 200 likes right away. This is the bread and butter of this channel. You have to hit the like button so we keep bringing you content. I'm here with Cass, and of course, the magnificent Sava is here with us today. How are you doing, my man? How are you? Glad to have you here with us.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Listen, always glad to be on with you guys. I love the chats. I love the debates. And I normally look forward to seeing what sort of food Kaz is going to be chewing on during the stream. So it's all good fun, man.
Only your show, man.
It's all good fun. It's all good fun.
You only it's on your show, to be honest.
Yeah, only on your show, to be fair. It's when I'm in a rush for other people's shows and not my own. By the way, just Sava's going to be on here every week as well. So every Wednesday at this time at 1:30, there will be new times during the day, middle of the day. So yeah, man, get used to the times. Mo's got life to do, so we have to alter things whether we like it or not. But it's actually probably better because then you guys can miss us that little bit more before we get to 10 o'clock. But yeah, man, I don't even know where to even start, Mo, but I think it's the easy one of the day. I could rather talk about Maguire, but let's talk about the Man City news. I would like to put apart. Lucas Paqueta, 70 million. And there's also Kyle Walker news. And there's also Bernardo Silva news again. And Man City fans would be getting excited about it more time. But Lucas Paqueta, 70 million, said to be rejected. And they want him to up their bid. If they want to sell him, it's going to have to be around his release clause, which doesn't actually activate till next season. So next season, summer, 85 will be the figure. So they have to maybe this 70 million from Man City is probably their first kind of, not a lowball offer, but I would say it's a reasonable offer considering he's got 4 years left on his deal. Just to add some context, he's got 1 year extra option. He's just signed technically. Guardiola wanted him last season, but didn't get him. He could be their Gundogan replacement. What are we thinking?
Sava?
Yeah. Look, I like Paqueta. I feel like he's at the wrong club, right? I feel like, what we talked about the other day, Kaz, like when you look at McTominay and Maguire, they look like David Moyes and West Ham players. When I look at players like Paqueta, I don't see them as that type of club. Pep would get the best out of him. That he'll make him. I mean, someone's just said in the chat they'll ball out. If that's the term you want to use,
it's a term. It's a term.
Yeah, it's the term. Yeah, look, Pep will have a plan for him. I think he's got everything Pep likes. He's powerful. He's skillful on the ball. Good touch. Good control. Got an eye for goal. I think it makes sense. And unfortunately, these prices, like now, I don't think anyone's shocked at prices like this now, are they? I mean, normally you'd be going 70 million, but hey, it is what it is. They're after him, apparently, Elise. They're looking at options, and whatever happens, Pep will make it work. It's what he does. So, yeah, I think it'll be a good signing for them, and I think it'll be a good move for West Ham. They look like they're reinvesting their money properly, whether we like the players or not. Whether we like Ward-Prowse or Maguire, I think for David Moyes, they suit Edson Alvarez. So I think they'll do the same with Paqueta. Let him go, bring in a couple more players. And I think it works for all parties.
For about Paqueta though, so last year that I think the reason why West Ham signed Paqueta, it's said by Mikel Antonio and the Filthy Fellas, who spoke about this before, when he said we tried to play expensive football, a progressive brand of football, and it didn't work for them. And Lucas Paqueta is the signing that it's supposed to take them to the next level in terms of playing football. It didn't work out. Lucas Paqueta played good at West Ham, but I thought that his potential was not like achieved. You know what I mean? Like when a player can give you so much, but because of your style of football, because of the players around him, he couldn't do it. And he tried his best, but the likes of Suchek and everybody else around him isn't the types of players that it can complement his style of play. I think every time I'm watching him with Brazil, he looks like a fantastic player, small player, the passing and all this stuff. And for me, he suits Man City to the T, like, to be honest. Like 70 million, if they get him with that price, to be honest, it would be a bargain. I'm looking at the likes of Declan Rice, Havertz, Mason Mount. You can look at it two ways. You can look at it from the Harvey Barnes, you can look at it from the Madison perspective, or you can look at it from the Rice, like I say those. So in the middle, in between, I think it's a fantastic signing. Also, Man City, if I'm not mistaken, have 0 Brazilians.
No, they got Edison, just one.
Edison, the goalkeeper. So,
yeah, I look at it and people say 85 million. No, I saw one comment in the chat right now. In the chat right now, let me know how much you think, considering being in context and ability-wise in the chat. Let me, Mo and Savin, know how much you reckon he's worth currently. Because when you break 4 years plus an extra option down of 70, let's say I think they compromise around 77 million. I think they compromise around that figure, maybe 80. If you break that down into 5-4 seasons, that's that 20 million a season, roughly. It's not that bad. When you consider, when they went for Rice, it made no sense to me because I thought they needed an attacking output. You look at Paqueta now, left foot as well, another one who could potentially also be used as an option on the right wing as well. You never know what Pep's going to do with these sort of players, right? Pep's a genius. We can't judge him at West Ham. He hasn't proved anything, Paqueta. That's one thing, but that doesn't matter. He's at a good age. He's about 27. I think is he 27? I think he's about 27 years old. I might be wrong. Might be 26. But I think a 75 million offer is more than reasonable. I think it's fair considering he had a crap season for his standards. And when you think of Moyes is building this robust industrial team. Set is James Ward-Prowse, hard energy, Clampers and Alvarez, maybe McTominay, maybe a dog in Gallagher. They might go back in for him after they sell. Yeah. They do sell Paqueta, right? Because it's not like Man City's going to go in for one offer. They will go again. They got money. They deserve to spend money. They just want a treble. So anyone saying, if anyone goes along the lines, this is more of a context type show. If anyone says they're buying a league, they're just buying expensive players. Mason Mount came to my club for a total of 60 million. Havertz went to a total of 65 million. When you think about it, do you rate Havertz or do you rate Paqueta more? And a lot of people are going to say Paqueta more, or Paqueta, if that's how you say his name, sorry. They're gonna rate him more. And when you think about 10 million above that, it's not that bad of a fee when you realistically think about it, right?
Look, I just think at the end of the day, I see Man City every year get called out for signings. Oh, he's not worth this. He's not worth that. Grealish isn't worth this. Grealish isn't worth that. This player, that player. Listen, when you are winning trebles, when you are winning doubles, when you are putting trophies on the table every year, Man City don't care how much the player cost. Fans seem to care more about how much Man City paid for the player than Man City do who keep winning things. Do you know what I mean? If you are winning things every year, like right now, if I sat here and said, was Grealish worth 100 million? Loads of fans in the chat go, no. Do Man City care? He was part of the team, an integral part of the team that just won a treble for that club's history. Why do they care that they spent 100 million? They don't care. The fans seem to care way more than what the club do. City have got 70, 80 million. If they want Paqueta, go and get him. If they don't, they'll go and get someone else. Again, as I said at the beginning of the show, good player, wrong club. He's at the wrong club for me. All of my West Ham fans, all of my West Ham mates. Sorry, what are we laughing at?
I just can't believe I can't believe it. Sorry, no, Sava, continue. I'll explain afterwards. I am so sorry.
You will see it.
I can't believe I'm saying.
It's anyway.
Anyway,
we just
what are we? You got to tell me now. What are we looking at?
All right. First and foremost, I don't know if it is Mo. I don't think it is. But we were talking yesterday. It would be so outrageous if someone made a profile called Out of Context Mo. Because Mo comes with some serious agendas sometimes. And yes, within context, sometimes out of context. With Mo, he's brilliant, right? And his sayings, and sometimes when he gets onto people when you don't expect it, funny. And now you've got a member called Out of Context Mo.
Mate, don't.
And I'm yet to see if there's going to be a page called Out of Context Mo on Twitter. Like randomly on Twitter, you're going to see Mo have some outrage on Daps or something, like he always does every day, anyways. And it just gets put on Twitter.
Yeah,
You lot are
listen,
shameless.
get so many accounts made about me. Just quickly, big boss man in the chat, dude. You don't have to be so rude, right? I know you hate me. It's fine. Listen,
Wait, he said something nasty to you, by the way.
No, it's just like he comes into every show and he's trying to call me out. Why do other Spurs fans hate you? He's calling me a muppet now. Listen,
wait. He's called you a muppet.
Yeah, it's fine.
Mods, one sec.
Kaz is fine. It's fine,
this
man.
This is a no tolerance zone. If you get rude to the panel, we got a few mods. Get rid of them. I don't care who you are, how long you've been the member for. If you get rude to the panel, you get removed. There's no tolerance. This is not the football terrorist chat.
Yeah,
football terrorist. You can do whatever you want, but don't get rude to the panel. Come for their opinions. I don't care if you say his opinions shit, but don't do it personally. He's not a muppet.
Do you know what? The thing is that was my point where he said they've got unlimited funds, you muppet. That's the point. Like when fans are going, he ain't worth 70 million. City don't care. City don't care. And look, unfortunately, you guys are right. As you just said, you got Mason Mount going for 60 million this year. Havertz is going for 65. Hoyland is 20 years of age and going for 65, 70 million. Declan Rice at 105. Brighton are just sitting there going 80, 90 million. Nah, you're not having Casado for 80, 90 million. Unfortunately, this is where we're at now. I don't understand where, first of all, I don't understand where it stops. And at what point does it mean value for money anymore, Mo? Do you know what I mean? Like, at what point do we say he's not worth 70, 50, 60? How do we justify it?
I do that sometimes, but nowadays I've been called out by Cass and Daps many times that, we have to accept that these are the prices now. If you get someone cheaper, that's the bargain. It's not the other way around, Sava, now. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not the other way around. So we need to stop saying, oh, this one is 70 million, he's 80 million. These are the prices. If you can get someone cheaper, good for you. But that's not the real deal now. The market, the inflation happened in football, and we have to accept it, right? I think 70 million for Paqueta is good. It's a good business for them. I'm comparing him to everybody else, right? Each player has ability. Each player has different position. There is a defender for 77 million that was sold to Man City, and Man City didn't want to pay the 85. They paid 77 million. Good for them. Great business for them, to be honest. So I want to start talking about Paqueta's price. If they get it for 75 million, he's a Brazilian international. How many Brazilian internationals that start in this Brazil team that you can get for that cheap? You get what I'm saying? I know the problem is that you got Madison for 45. That's your measuring stick. But the measuring stick for everybody else isn't that. It's probably the Declan Rice. That's the measuring stick. So how do you want to look at it? But anyway, long story short, where does he fit? That's what I want to know. Footballing wise, forget the price, forget everything.
Yeah.
Where do you guys think he fits on the team?
Go on, concepts.
I was just going to say, but this is the thing. This is about having a squad. Let's be fair. Man City have so many players that Pep will find a way to get them all involved. And it goes back to, as I said, people before going, oh my God, Man City have lost Mahrez and Gundogan. What are they going to do now? Then when they go and buy Paqueta, I'm not saying they have yet, but if they buy Paqueta, it's, well, where will he play? What will he do? Listen, City are going to go deep in all four competitions. We know this, right? Let's be brutally honest. Unless there's a shock in one of the cup rounds, they're going to get through their Champions League group, whatever it is. They're going to be fighting for the title. They're going to go deep in the League Cup and FA Cup. You need players. You need bodies. You need numbers to do that. And again, it's exactly why Arsenal didn't go deep in all their competitions and didn't win anything last year, because it was Saka being used every single minute of every single game. Martinelli being used every minute of the game. Partey, Xhaka. Do you know what I mean? If you are just, I'm not saying this should be my team. If I'm Man City and one game I'm lining up with Rodri, Kovacic, De Bruyne, right? One of them picks up a knock. You go, okay, cool. Next it's going to be Rodri, Kovacic, Paqueta, right? You need those options. You've got to have those options, man. Got to.
100%. For me, in my opinion, he is that for at the moment I'm looking at him, he is the ideal replacement for Gundogan. If they want to play the same brand of football, the same type of football, the 4 center backs, someone going next to Rodri, and you have 2 behind the striker, I think now Paqueta gives you the option to keep Bernardo Silva on the right side, or even Lucas Paqueta and Foden can a little bit rotate. Also, we know that Kevin De Bruyne will not be able to play 60 games a season, as Sava says. So I think Lucas Paqueta, being an offensive player, but also can play in a 3 midfield, or even play behind the striker, I think he makes a lot of sense to them. And I think Guardiola, as Cass said, will get the best out of him, which is, I believe that his full potential will be met. He's only 25 years old. Played 42 games for Brazil, guys. This guy is buried at West Ham, with all due respect to West Ham and everybody that supports West Ham. He doesn't suit West Ham Football Club.
Well, he doesn't suit Moyes' ball, basically.
Yes, as of now. If Moyes leaves and they get another coach, progressive, it's fine. But as of now, he doesn't suit them.
So just really quickly, do you know what I think would really suit West Ham? If West Ham have a back 3 of Maguire, Agurd, and Zuma, right? Brilliant. They're not going to be playing a high line. They'll head most things clear. Then if you get a midfield 3 of Edson Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, and then sell Paqueta and bring in Conor Gallagher, or McTominay, or bring in a Conor Gallagher, right? Players that work their backside off, right, in this kind of rigid system. Then you've got Bowen and one other for the running and the flair. I think that is where West Ham are at their best. Sorry,
it's true.
Under Moyes, that is where West Ham are at their best. They start buying the Paquetas, the Cornets, the Scamacas. Moyes didn't have a clue what to do. No, that's what I meant. Last year, when he bought all these players in, he didn't know what to do with them. He doesn't know what to do with those players.
You know what? I look at James Ward-Prowse, and he can nowhere in any shape, way, or form can be a centre mid. I think we saw it for Brighton, right? I mean, Southampton. When he played next to Lavia done all his work. He needs to be in an attacking mid spot because his legs are just not there. He needs workers around him. So that's why I look at Gallagher and think, he's not going to be the guy. I don't think Chelsea sell him anymore. That Nkunku's now finished, right? So
finished.
Finished.
His career's done.
No, it's not done.
Anyway, I know what you mean.
Injury, right? I look at West Ham, and I think McTominay would make more sense in terms of energy in and around. Maybe it's a bit of hopium as well, but someone like McTominay potentially, someone who's going to run for Alvarez, but also run for the attacking mid and has a great engine that can play the more of the 8 role. I don't look at Conor Gallagher and look at it as an 8 personally. And I don't think West Ham fans would even want him too tough. But they need to find a robust striker. But when I look at what Paqueta could, or Paqueta, I'm going to find out what his how you actually say his name properly.
I'll find out 1 sec. I'll find out.
So whatever it is, I look at City and I look at Pep. He loves a midfielder and a winger that can do multiple roles. Paqueta, whatever, Packet of Crisp. He can go on a right wing, maybe central midfield as well, which we've seen him drop deeper for West Ham, and also attacking mid as well. So that's the way I look at it. And I think if you think of the Gundogan role, Kovacic was never it. He's just there to fill in a gap, right? He's just there to be in and around. But when you look at what Paqueta is great at, is probably then runs into the box. And that's the way I think I can see the role. Foden, if we saw what Pep was doing with Bernardo Silva sometimes, he used him centrally on Sunday off the right wing as well, you know? Maybe you might see something similar with Packet of Crisp and so forth, you know? So there you go. I just feel like it gives Pep a lot of options, and you can't deny it. And again, he's not worth, if he had a year left on his contract or 2 years and you saw 75 million, a bid going like that, yes, it's overpriced depending on how great he's been. He's had in his first season of the Prem 7 goals, 5 assists in total, and that's including the FA Cup and everything. When you think of it, if you go into a progressive team, that's just probably going to double. So You know, so and when you think again, contract length, 4 years left with a year extra. West Ham paid £51 million for him. They're gonna want to profit.
Yes,
And that's
100%.
the way I look at it. So it's not an easy deal. And I think it was said, yes, was it not said last night? It's not an easy deal to do, but they're going for it.
Yeah. Guys, over about 750 of you here. Can we get to 300 likes? Hit that like button. It's underneath your live chat. If you're chatting shit to us right now, if you're cussing us, it doesn't matter. The like button is what allows you to even hate us more. It looks like this. It's just free. This is free content. So hit that like button. Let me do these couple of these super chats. Of course, our contest, Mo, thank you for being a member. We'll get you on a panel now so you can actually talk to the real Mo. And Nigel is saying, just realized United can sign Amrabat, Tadibo, and Pavard for 75 million by just selling Maguire, Fred, and Scott. This is what Cass is calling 10 out of 10 window.
Pavard. Keep Pavard away from my club, man. Keep him away.
You have 2 right backs. I don't think you need him. But yeah, thank you for the super chat. If you get Tadibo, you don't need Pavard, to be honest. There's no reason to get Tadibo, especially if you're going to give, what's his name? Evans. Like one.
It's looking likely Evans going to be.
Yeah,
he should be a 5th choice centre back. I don't mind that. If you're 5th choice and you're experienced, that's probably what you want in a 5th choice. Would you see any other club go for like a guy that's 35? Let's say you don't see Koscielny coming back to Arsenal at 38 years old or whatever. It's like he's something you don't look at West Ham's. Well, you wouldn't see flipping Company come out of retirement for Man City saying, "Yeah, I'll use him." It's a bit weird. Slightly, it is a bit weird.
Bree, thank you for becoming a member. Gold tier member, of course. Bree, let us know if you want to be on a panel. Thank you so much for being a member. The membership, guys, check it in the chat, of course, and also go to the NAF community to check out the props for each tier of the membership. Gold, you get 3 chances to be on a panel 3 times. You have 3 chances a month to be on a panel. Also, access to the WhatsApp group and also the what's it called? Fantasy football. Mersham Babu saying we calling
L's on spuds for
L's
Raya.
on spuds for
he came onto my show this morning and said this.
But to be honest, it was strange. It was strange that you bid 40 million, got rejected, and then Arsenal. I wanted to ask you, why do you think that happened? But later, like if we talk about Spurs, why do you think Arsenal bid 27 got accepted and Spurs bid?
I think it's quite simple. Look, I mean, when people are saying about an L, look, we can only bid what we bid at the time, right? And if that gets rejected and something cheaper gets accepted, I think what it shows you is I think Brentford priced him out early on, right? I think, let's be fair. If you're going, they're saying we want 40 million. No one came in for 40 million for him. No one. They've held out. Then they've realised we've gone and bought a keeper. They've realised no one's actually bid 40 million for the guy. And they end up selling him for 25 million plus 5 million in add-ons. So when you're saying it's an L for Spurs, I don't really think it is an L for Spurs. We bid 35 million. Can't help it if 2 months later or 6 weeks later they then accept 15 million less. I don't know. What do you do? I don't know what. Listen, I'll be the first one to have a go at Levy and Spurs, right? You know me, guys. But I don't know what we could have done about that. We've offered more. But I think they shot their bolt a little bit too early in announcing their new keeper, thinking that other people would bid 40 million, and they didn't. It is what it is.
Mersham, another Mo's Rice agenda. This inflation started with Pogba and was inflated by Enzo. So it's a simple answer. I'm not gonna dwell on it. I'm not gonna have a monologue. Okay. When Pogba joined Man United, he was one of the best midfielders in the world. He played Champions League final with Juventus, and he was a French international, very young, and he was a completely different player than Declan Rice. So, and they overpaid for him. But thank you so much. It's not an agenda. Declan Rice, 105 million, I think is too much a little bit. But the price is the price. You know what I mean? They wanted their player, they got their player. So it's not an agenda against Declan Rice. We'll see if he's worth 105 or not. And I have the same energy for Enzo as well. Anyway, we keep going. But thank you for the super chat.
Last thing on Man City, Kyle Walker staying. Now, huge plus. Clearly, that picture you saw him going out drinking with Pep Guardiola seemed to put the nail in the coffin. Huge plus for them.
Yeah. Listen, I think Kyle Walker is one of the very few defenders that you can't just replace like for like. For that pace and that power, How many defenders have got that out and out raw pace? And City play a high line, right? You need a Kyle Walker. You need a Kyle Walker. You saw last year the difference between them playing Real Madrid this year versus last year when Walker's sticking Vinicius Jr. in his pocket as opposed to not having Walker there, right? How many people could do that to Vinicius Jr.? So for me, I think it's a no-brainer for them. I would have loved him. I would have loved him to come back to Spurs. I'm not going to lie, but listen, he's a top defender. His pace will always get him out of trouble if he does make a mistake as well, and he's very different. I don't know off the top of my head who can you replace him with that pace and that power. He's very, very strong. Who in world football?
You know what? There is someone that's probably as fast as him that can be him, but I don't think will ever be him. Like, it can be him, but I don't think he'll ever get there. And I think of one fullback, and it's Alphonso Davies. But the only thing that lacks with him is that I think Kyle Walker's... I like Davies when he goes forward. He's a little bit better going forward than Walker, but when it goes going back a little bit back, he's not as good as Walker if you're talking recovery tackles. But I've seen Davies do it in pre-season, and he's still very young. I'm trying to remember him to like a young Kyle Walker. But when I think of raw pace that can be anything like somebody, that's as close as it comes to, because you can't. That's why I say, when people say I think Kyle Walker is the Premier League's best ever right back, I get like, what? You don't know?
I agree. I think
it's Gary Neville, it's Ivanovic, it's Zabaleta, it's this guy. Oh no, it's Dennis Irwin, even though he played left back. But
football's evolved, right? So Gary Neville for his era was perfect in the 4-4-2, right? Kyle Walker for this era has been the best fullback hands down for me for what he can do this way and that way. Now, listen, I know nowadays everyone wants their fullback to score 10 goals and get 10 assists. But let's be fair. In Man City's formation, Kyle Walker's main role isn't to get goals and assists. Kyle Walker is there to defend, and he does it superbly. And Spurs still haven't replaced him in 6 or 7 years. So he's a great player, Kyle Walker.
Quick comment: Davies isn't a defender. He was playing. And Ashley Cole was a striker before he went left back. What now? Things change. But I just think, like, just to wrap it up on that little part, it's just I see what you said, Roms, as well. Trent. At the end of Trent's career, we'll talk about it. But yeah,
hold on. So at the moment, you don't think Trent, even at the career, is not comparable to Kyle Walker?
No, he can't. No, why?
Terrible. No, I said the best right back in Premier League history ever, like Premier League history, right? From what I've watched, and I've watched a lot of Premier League. Obviously, I didn't get to watch the 90s as much, and people will say Dennis. I never watched him, so I could say for me, Kyle Walker is Trent. In another 6 years, we'll talk about Trent.
Okay, then.
Listen, I like Trent, but let's be fair. If you're playing Trent Alexander-Arnold in that Kyle Walker position for Man City, he'll be he'll be amazing going forward. Can he do what Walker does going backwards? Would he stick? I know this is one player, but would he stick one of the best wingers in the world, Vinicius, in his pocket? Not a chance. Vinicius Jr. would take Alexander-Arnold to the cleaners from a defensive perspective.
Wait, did he not at the back post?
Well,
it's going to Vinny Jr.
Can I ask you guys something? So, guys, you think Kyle Walker as a right back is better than Kyle Walker as a right center back, or a defender, clearly just to defend? Can you if you want to right back to cross, go forward, create, if you're a very progressive team and you don't need to you're not playing Vinny Jr. every day, would you play Trent or Kyle Walker?
It depends.
Exactly.
Of course, it just depends. But I've seen Kyle Walker from when he first started at Tottenham to now him ending his career at City. Pretty much in a
very consistent defensively, very consistent. I just think.
Do you not remember Kyle Walker's output? Like, he used to, if I'm correct, did he not have quite crazy output?
No, never. I'm looking at the numbers now. 5 assists a season. His maximum was 6 assists a season.
But the problem is,
guys, this is you're not getting my point. Right? This is the context, right? You're not getting my point. The thing about it, Sava, it's one word you said. You said in Pep's system, the reason why the way they use him. This is what makes Kyle Walker fantastic.
In any system, Kyle Walker can defend. in any system,
can only
Kyle
defend.
Walker,
Can only defend.
well,
Trent
hang on.
can only
hang
go
on.
forward.
No,
People
hang
forget
on,
what
hang
you
on.
do.
Yeah, Kaz, thank you. Why have football fans forgotten that the first and primary job of a fullback is to defend? If you are brilliant going forward, fantastic. That is an extra string to your bow. But Kyle Walker's very good at going and joining in and linking up and driving the ball forward. Yeah, he might not have a million brilliant crosses like Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I know who I want in my right back in any formation, him or Alexander-Arnold. I want Kyle Walker. The forward players can do the scoring and the assisting and all that. Alexander-Arnold's a very, very good player, right? Very, very, very good player. But defensively, you watched last year. You saw last year, Liverpool weren't brilliantly defensively. What happened?
No, garbage defensively. Garbage.
Yep. Okay, so what happened? And Alexander-Arnold looked awful all season until the last 10 or 11 games where he was moved into a kind of midfield position away from right back. What does that tell you?
So
let's not.
I'm not going to debate this. This is not the debate show. All I'm saying is that Kyle Walker
isn't every
it's
football
probably
show
the
a debate
best
show?
defensive right back. Is the best defensive right back I have seen in my life just because of the speed and the positioning, and he's very smart.
I thought everyone forgets what Walker used to do and what he used to provide through counter attacks.
Haven't seen it for years. So yeah, I haven't seen it for years.
I know, but he's 33 years old. That's why we're judging him now.
Okay, I haven't seen it for 7 years, and he joined
7 years. When he first joined City, I remember him and Sterling down that right-hand side used to be devastating. Devastating.
Hang on, and are we forgetting how good Kyle Walker was at Tottenham?
In it?
That got him his move to Man City.
Him and Rose was said to be the best pair of fullbacks in the league under Poch at that time. Anyways.
At Spurs, just quickly, last thing, yeah? When we had Rose, Vertonghen, Alderweireld and Walker, we had the best defence in Europe that season. We conceded 26 goals in all competitions.
Keyword defense. Keyword.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're there to do, Mo. Like stats. That's great, but you're there to defend. And you saw last year, Alexander-Arnold isn't that great defensively. So
you know what it is? If we want to do, it's the stats on the eye. Look, just to wrap it up, because I want to talk about Maguire and get excited. We can do stats, goal and assist, but there's other stats. There's defensive stats. If you want to go do that, I'm pretty sure there's a winning battle.
I agree with you 100%.
United Red, someone gifted you yesterday a free membership, and it chose you. So you are a member for a month. Just letting you know. But yeah, man. Let's move on from that stuff. Also, just a quick one. Bernardo Silva is set to stay as well. Now it's official. It's done. No one's going to get him. No one's getting him. And apparently he's close to signing some sort of contract, allegedly. Wicked player, good for City, and terrible for the league. And yes, I get it. I've been seeing you say a fit Reece James. I know a fit, but that's what if buts and maybes. Can he stay fit? We'll have that conversation in 6 years' time. But anyways, Harry Maguire.
I'm just glad it's not us. I
have been waiting for this day for 3 years. 3 years. And the worst part is it's technically it's being accepted, but it hasn't. We want to know the structure. A lot of the money's up front. Good deal for West Ham or bad deal for Man United? Or good for both?
Good for both. Good for both. You've got a player out that has had controversy surrounding him for many years now. West Ham, he fits them like an absolute glove. I think it's a great deal for both. Forget who cares how it's structured. It's just a great deal for both. West Ham fans will love it. He'll head everything away that comes into that box. Him, Zuma, and a Gerd. They'll be very difficult to beat in the air, right? And for you guys, you get money for him. You then get money for McTominay, for Fred, for Van der Beek. You then go and buy another centre-back and Amrabat. I mean, great business all round for me.
All right, premium Brexit ball, as my man is saying, is in full flow.
I saw that.
That's 200k of wages out, right? It's out the door. Forget the Fred stuff right now. It's out the door. He doesn't suit the high line. He hasn't suited Man United. Man United's worst ever captain. I would say he's an okay professional, but I think he's got too much of an ego and he's a reality check. I think he's got too many yes men around him. and clearly he loves England. And that's the one thing I'm going to give a positive to Maguire. He loves England, and he wants to play international football because that's the way he knows he probably feels he's at his best, right? Under Southgate. And he's probably thinking of the Euros as well, Mo. He needs this move. Man United need him to move. I need him to move. I can't stand him. And that's that. It's 80 million wasted. And that goes down to show what Man United's been about for the last decade. You lost more than half your money that you paid for him only 3 years ago. Right?
Didn't he win a trophy with you or something? He didn't.
The guy barely played.
I know. No, he used to play 34 games a season, but not last season. But anyway, Harry Maguire, bro. Listen, I said 30 million is decent enough because he's going to another Premier League team. Even though, for me, he's worth 25 million, 30 million. You got the maximum out of West Ham. Good for you. Now you go and invest that on another defender or just try to buy a midfielder or something. Would you go for an Amrabat now? Or would you take that money and buy a defender first? Which one? Or Amrabat depends on a midfielder. I think at the moment, you go and buy a midfielder before you go for a centre back.
The
reason why?
Oh, you okay, yeah.
The reason why is Luke Shaw can play centre back. Do you know what I mean? Like you can cover that area, right? You have defenders, but in the midfield now, I am seeing if you start the season without someone like Amrabat, you'll need someone else in that midfield. That's how I see it.
Well, the way I look at it is like Maguire goes out and then there's 3 options, and we can talk about the 3 options because it kind of links Sava's team, who's I don't know if they're still looking at him or not in tap sober, but I think he's probably down the pecking order of the list because I'm seeing Man United are in concrete talks with Todibo, the guy that plays for Nice. He's had 2 decent seasons there. Nice has been neglected under Sergeant Ratcliffe, out of all people, by the way. There's nothing wrong with the defense. The guy is super fast. He's growing. He's 23, going on 24 end of the year. It would make sense since Man United have a lot of older centre backs. You know, Evans, Lindelof, Varane, and then you've got the 24, 25-year-old in Martinez. It makes sense to go get someone younger rather than older in Pavard. Pavard apparently, according to Pletigo, Pavard's an option to replace Maguire, but he's not my option because he just doesn't suit that high line. And there's a reason probably why other clubs throughout Europe ain't even going in for him because he's just not worth it. And I just
Pavard isn't, Cass, I'm sorry. Pavard isn't a centre back.
No, he's not. But I don't think he's a great right back either, Mo. So we're in conversation.
He plays right centre back when they play 3 in the back. He doesn't suit Manchester United's system at the moment.
That's the way I look at it. And I'll be so upset if Ten Hag opts to use that Maguire money to go and get someone like Pavard. And then I'm going to have to start questioning some talent ID and what's good for the club. I can back the manager, but I can disagree with what he targets and what he values. He could prove me wrong, but I know Pavard isn't fast. I know he's not exactly the greatest on the ball. I know he's got great technique though, you know, and I think he's got a wicked cross on him. But then I'm looking at him thinking you're going to be utilized more as a right back. And there's questions over Wan-Bissaka. Apparently at the end of the window, there's going to be new contract discussions, etc., etc. Going forward, he's decent. At the back, he's not so decent. And that's why I want Todibo because he's roughly about 25, 27 million quoted, right? Don't take my word for it, or maybe even 30 million. I just think Man United have to get this one extremely right because Varane can't play week in, week out.
Rafa, do you think Man United now, since they're going to give Evans a contract for a year or something, and I think the centre-back market now, there's tons of them around in the market. You just go anywhere, you'll find the centre-back for sale for like 25, 30 million. Do you think Man United, the season starts in 5 days, do you think Man United, since they have the funds now, should go and try to buy a centre-back, or you see them in need more for a midfielder?
I see that they'll get both. I don't think this is an either or. I think they were always going to go for Amrabat, which has been the noise, and I think they were waiting for players to go out the door. And if you get rid of if you lose McTominay and Fred and Maguire and Van der Beek, and you replace them with one top midfielder in Amrabat and one top defender in Todibo, Tapsoba, whoever it may be, then that's great business. And I agree. I think I think like having a player like Varane is good. You know, how many more years has he got left in his legs? That some players go on forever, other players don't. Johnny Evans is there for 4th, 5th choice.
Stopgap,
yeah. Johnny Evans is a stopgap. Yeah, fourth, fifth choice, solid, dependable, didn't cost anything, knows the club, no problem with that at all. Probably be good round for the dressing room. But if you can then get Martinez playing with a Todibo or a Tapsoba for a long-term partnership, plus you've got Amrabat and Casemiro sitting in front of them, and then you've got Højlund at the top, Bruno in the 10, whatever. You've got a really nice spine. So I think it's good, solid business if that's what they do. And all the noises are that all of those players look like they are leaving Man United. And I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. You know, slowly but surely, Ten Hag will start shifting the deadwood. And it can't all happen in one window, but he got rid of some last year. Now it looks like he's getting rid of more. The more deadwood you bring in, the better players you bring in, the happier fan base you've got, right? So I think if I was a Man United fan, I'd be happy with that business.
Guys, there is over 1,000 of you here. Can you get me to 500 likes? Hit that like button for us. It looks like this. The like button helps us expand, helps us bring you content. It is what keeps this channel going for free content. Right, so the like button, it's like thumbs up, free underneath your live chat. Just close the live chat and just hit that like button because this is how we keep bringing you content.
Oh yeah, and also Sav's channel's in the pin. That has been pinned for the last half an hour or so. It's also in the description. It's not just Tottenham content. You'll find other bits of content. You might see the lovely Dave back on a Tuesday as well, at Tuesday 10 p.m s, which I might also be jumping on. And we have just lots of discussion about football and other great people as well, man. So yeah, if you want to check out Sav's channel, it's right there. You can see it. But yeah, man, Man United's doing great business, in my opinion. It's the best business I've seen in even in Fergie.
What are you gonna do about McTominay? Can you tell me more about McTominay? What is gonna happen?
I don't know. I think if they sell Paqueta, they're gonna have to, or Paqueta Crisp. I can't get his name right. Did you find out what his name is?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. So it shows as PAKE -ta. So I think it's Paqueta. I think.
So it's Paqueta, not Paqueta.
Paqueta, I think, but I don't know. I'm not an expert.
I think Man United are not desperate to get McTominay, and they're willing to hold on to him for a season, but then they want to keep Maybury, one of our youngsters, in and around, and Kobe Mino in and around. So I don't see. So if you've got Paqueta going, I can see them going in for McTominay, and I think Man United know probably now is that if they're going to go get 75, 80 million, they're going to up their bid, because you can clearly see that David Moyes wants to link up with he's the Scottish international, and he probably do a similar job to Declan Rice, just not as great, but he will do the job. As Antonio said on Filthy Fellas and stuff, he needs that robust industrial team, and that's what suits Moyes to a T. Get out of the pitch, press high energy, get the whips into the box and go further from there. And I don't know, maybe they got other targets, but they haven't got a long time to get all. They need to sign about another 7-8 players.
Who, West Ham?
Yeah. They got that. I'm not joking. Another 7-8 players to fill their squad. Because
they've moved late. They've moved late. Considering Rice went a long time ago. Like, he went, what did Rice go? 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago?
What is it? August? No, I think maybe even not. Yeah, about that. Maybe 4. Yeah, start of pre-season.
So yeah, they've definitely moved late. You're right. I think they've got their work cut out. But look, what I have seen that I think is quite good about West Ham is they're not afraid to go in and put the bid in. A lot of teams, especially my club, are the best at. Spurs are the absolute best team in the world, right? At monitoring, inquiring, thinking about, asking. Do you know what I mean? We're brilliant and all that. When it comes to putting the bid down, it's like, come on, let's do it. West Ham have put in a bid before for Gallagher. Got rejected, but they did the bid. They put the bid in for James Ward-Prowse, for Maguire, for McTominay. They will act quickly and move on it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see between now, not before their first game of the season, but in the next week, 10 days, to see 3 or 4 bodies coming into West Ham.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's very true. A couple more clubs to talk about, though. Kepa to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I know that I saw a loan move and Tuchel wants to link up with him. And I don't know why Bayern want this guy. Like, I think he's pony. He's not. Bayern have had great keepers over many, many years, right? And they're lucky to had Oliver Kahn for so long, Neuer for so long, and there's probably a couple others as well. I just don't get it. But if you're a Chelsea fan, you must be buzzing. But to think that Sanchez came in for them, I don't look at him as a first teamer. And if they let him go, I know Chelsea fans are going to be begging to go and put a bid in for Magnan or something like that, or maybe Diogo Costa and a new number one, because they will still be lacking an extra goalkeeper.
Can I say something about that?
Go on.
Some people have just these moments. How is Thomas Tuchel the one that went out of his way to buy Mendy, to bench Kepa, to play a whole season, and now wants to get the guy? I woke up this morning and I saw the title of the video, so I go to all the news and I'm like, is this serious? You know what I mean?
Is this happening?
Like, is this happening for you? The guy that sat someone on the bench wasn't convinced that he's a good goalkeeper, and he was 70 million or something. Isn't he the one who bought him or something?
No, Lampard bought him for like 70
but
million.
He used him, and then he's like, no, you're not good. I'm gonna go buy Mendy and sit you on the bench. And now he's like, oh, why didn't you come to Bayern Munich, an even bigger club? You know what I mean? That want to go for Champions League. I'm like,
no, I don't think he got Mendy. Didn't Lampard bought Mendy? No, I think Lampard bought Mendy, but he did bench Kepa and kept Mendy.
Oh God, no! They buy so many players and have so many managers. Who knows who bought who? But...
Someone correct me in the chat. Who bought Mendy in January? I thought it was Thomas Tuchel. Isn't he the one that got him in January after the Lampard got sacked?
No, I don't think it was. I
don't know. Whoever bought him's got blood on their hands. Terrible signing.
Kepa might be going down as one of the worst keepers I've seen in top club history, like top flight, as in top 6 clubs.
Lampard bought him. Yeah.
It's the fact that no one ever actually talks about how much he truly cost.
I think that's the key thing.
It always goes under the radar, and especially at the time he's been at the club for how long now? 3-4 years, maybe longer, something like that. But
yeah, it feels like a long time.
I don't know how much of a fee Chelsea can really get for this guy, and they're going to that's going to be another player that Chelsea have to replace in short time. You got to go look for another centre mid, attacker mid to probably stop because of Nkunku now. You just had to bring in Disasi. You got to probably go get a DM, maybe 2 of them.
Chelsea are loitering.
You got to get another goalkeeper after that then, and it's like, bro, like it's never ending. It's crazy.
Chelsea are loitering, Kaz. Like, I thought they would have done a lot more by now. Like, don't get me wrong, they keep bringing in all these exciting, super duper generational talents from Brazil and stuff like that. That's great. And then they loan them to Strasbourg. But for only my reckoning, I think they need a new keeper. I think they need 2 new midfielders, which looks like it's going to be Tyler Adams and Caicedo. I think they now need another. I thought they needed another forward anyway. Now Nkunku's his career's finished, according to Kaz. Now Nkunku's out for 4 months. They definitely need another forward. They need to, from a Chelsea fan point of view, those fans must be worried that they need to get
maybe even another right winger as well. Because when Nkunku wasn't injured, they were talking more of a right winger as like an extra one, a left-footed in Shirky. Who else was it? Elise and then Kudus.
Yeah, it's madness, man. Like this whole saga with Caicedo is sort of like it's madness.
Frankie de Jong all over again.
I do think though that Tyler Adams at 20 million is a smart bit of business. I think he's a very good player that won't set the world alight, isn't terrible. I think sometimes you need those players in your squad. He'll go in there, he'll give you 7 or 8 out of 10 every game. He'll do all the hard work. He's got a great engine on him. And I think Chelsea needs some stability like that within their team, because at the moment, it looks like it's like a complete licorice all sorts of players. I don't feel like there's a plan, but...
And then you got to get them all used to it. And the thing is, when you bring in all these players as well, Mo, it's like they have to integrate all of them, and they ain't had pre-season together. Only the set squad right now, and we're talking about an extra like 4 or 5 players potentially for Chelsea. How long is it going to take for them to settle as well?
Yeah, but I've been told I have Chelsea agenda. Listen, Don told us yesterday that they have holes to fill. But you fill these holes, you sign 8 or 9 players or 10, you loan 4 of them, saying that, we'll talk about the future. But you have to go back to Champions League football ASAP. You spend a lot of money. Champions League football brings you money. If Chelsea sign all these players and they don't make Champions League, What next? What next? I think it's a risk. I don't know what they should have done, to be honest. It's just a testament of how the club has been run before. They are trying to correct everything, but it's very tough for any coach try to play a team with even I'm counting the likes of Colwell, because Colwell wasn't a Chelsea player last year. He was on loan. So you still have to integrate him with the rest of the squad. Malo Gusto the same.
Yeah, agreed.
Malo Gusto the same. Who I don't know, like even the likes of Mudrik, who had like minutes like this. You need to integrate him, and now he has to play Jackson. No, imagine going to a season with 5 or 6 of your players just brand new. How'd that look? Brand new players. They haven't played with each other the season before. I think it's very tough. And I don't know the solution for Chelsea, because even now you're going to go to the season with a new goalkeeper if Kepa leaves. It's just another element that you'll have to get used to.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know the funny thing, Mo? Is like, do you know what? Whatever stream I go on, because Spurs are crap, even though I know Spurs are crap, what makes me laugh is I see people in comments all the time say, oh, a Spurs fan talking about a plan. Well, yeah, Spurs fan talking about a plan because I wish my club had a plan. Right? Like, I don't understand why who you support means you can't have an opinion on certain things. Like, I would love Tottenham to have a plan. I think we will have a plan under Postecoglou, but I'd love a plan. And Chelsea at the moment, I think they've done some good bits. Don't get me wrong. I think they've done some good bits. But I think it's clear for everyone to see, especially with Nkunku injured, especially when you look at their mid. Like, at the moment, who's their midfield two, in your opinion?
No one.
For me,
Right.
today,
Enzo?
at the moment,
Enzo.
I know who's going to play. I know it's
Enzo.
going to be Enzo and Gallagher.
Right,
And
okay.
then Santos, a youngster.
Okay. So when we're being told that we're waffling and that we're sorry, do Chelsea fans not want better? Do Chelsea fans not think, hang on, we need a couple of top centre mids to complement Enzo? What every time you talk about another club, you're not putting them down. You're just giving a perspective. Like, I've got nothing against Chelsea, even as a Spurs fan.
Well,
I think
well,
no, listen, I don't listen. Listen,
maybe.
no. I'm a football fan, right? For me, if I'm asked an opinion on a club, I think I've got the ability to take my Spurs hat off and actually talk about what that. You ask me about Arsenal, I'll tell you what they need: Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool. Right? I think the point is too many fans don't like that. They don't like that you can be.
Yeah, they are sensitive in the chat now.
Yeah,
we have an agenda.
Exactly.
We don't know. We talk shit.
I know.
This is why no one gets onto me, man. And
But
my
this is the thing.
To be honest, we're not, I agree with Sava. We're just saying an opinion. We're saying it's difficult to integrate all these players. You still need players to come in to be able to compete. No, do you want us to sit here and say, "Oh, Chelsea are absolutely fantastic. They're great at the moment." You know what I mean? Like, Chelsea, what a club, what a coach, what an owner. You guys are absolutely the gem of London. What a club, bro. Enzo,
by the way,
best player in the world.
I think they'll be fine. By the way, I do think they'll be fine. All I've said is I just thought by now they would have got in a midfielder they needed, a goalkeeper and another forward. That's all I'm saying. But the window's not shut yet. And the one thing you can say about Chelsea is all of a sudden from nowhere, you pick up the news and you go, oh, Chelsea have signed so-and-so. And you're like, where did that come from? But this is a tough year for Chelsea. They've just had a real dip. Other clubs are progressing. And now they need to use this year without Europe to really build and grow. But football fans can't be objective when it's not about their, like, if it's about their club. It's just like when I debate with Arsenal fans, if you don't say Bukayo Saka's the best thing that's ever played football, you're salty. No, I'm not. Do you know what I mean? It's just he's a good player, but he's not well. You know what I mean? And that's football fans, man. That's football fans.
I can't lie. I like.
Okay, what about Maddison? Is an average player, doesn't know, like he's like a terrible signing for you. He's not gonna give you anything. How if I say that to you, Sava? How would you feel?
What about Maddison?
He's an average player that's not gonna give you anything. He's a terrible player, terrible signing. You wasted your money on him. What if I tell you that? How would you respond to me?
I would respond and say, cool, but that's your emotion, not your facts. If you look at what he's done in the Premier League the last 4 years, only 3 players have more goals and assist contributions in their game, which is De Bruyne, Kane, and Salah. Now, that's not bad company. I'd like to be a part of that company.
You know what I like here?
Madison will do
don't
just fine.
Don't do the bum sucking thing. That's just wrong. That's just very wrong. You said, look, I can understand Cass and Mo probably all speaks that. I talk shit. And I like to talk shit because I know it pisses you lot off, but I like to talk objective too. When you say Daps and Ty speak sense, and then Mo in the same bracket, it's like, bruv, like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much there, man.
No, actually, Sava, just to let you know, I'm joking. Actually, just
I know, mate. I knew what you were doing.
You got it right.
do you know the problem is, Mo? When those fans put those questions to me, they think that I'm always going to react in a massively biased way, and I won't. So, like, people in the chat going, "What happened in the second half yesterday, Sava?" Yeah, we were outclassed by the Spanish champions. Like, I don't like. There's no. Oh my god! But we were brilliant. No, we played well. We were massively in the game. We played some great football, but unfortunately, which is not good enough at the back. And Barcelona beat us. Like there's no.
You know,
can we put contest into it? Go ahead.
I'm gonna. We can talk about that all day, anyways. LJ Brown says, "Mo, pay the Balogun price. Don't be cheap, Mo."
I hope so. I wish. Listen, man. I really hope. It's not my money. I wish that my club had money to pay for Balogun for everyone. It's not me.
But you know what's funny? Just back onto the Kepa stuff. I feel like Chelsea fans. Are you not a little bit annoyed that? Even Tottenham fans to a degree, because Vicario, don't get me wrong, he's quite young for a goalkeeper as well. He's not actually that great, if we're being totally honest. Bit unknown as well, as an unknown entity. You know, Arsenal just secured Raya for 30 million, even though I think Tottenham offered something around 35 million for him, or just under, and he rejected it. And just for him to go to Arsenal, who might not even have a start in place. And you look at Chelsea, you've just got rid of Kepa, potentially, like it might not even happen, just to have Raya go to Arsenal when Raya probably would be a great fit for Chelsea right now, especially he's definitely better than Sanchez. And he's across the road. So he's not even far off. You know, he doesn't have to move houses, don't have to do none of that. But I was just thinking, why didn't know? I just don't get this transfer too much. And if Ramsdale's there now, he's got competition. Like if you're a Chelsea fan in the chat, are you not biting yourselves a little bit? Or even Spurs? I think Spurs, even Spurs fan, even yourself, I think you might have been a fan of Raya. I think he would definitely suit.
Mate, listen, I would have taken Raya, but as we said at the beginning of the show, Kaz, everyone's saying that we offered 35 million and they wanted 40. Now, as the window's gone on, they've dropped that price to 25 million plus add-ons. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I like Raya as a goalkeeper. I think Vicario's getting loads of hate considering hardly anyone's seen him play. Like, literally, Vicario as well is walking into a team with such a bad defence that he's coming into a new club as the new number one with frail defenders in front of him. I just think he needs time. I think it's well too early to judge him. But listen, Raya's a good goalkeeper. But what do they do then? You've got Raya and Ramsdale. How do you keep both the R's happy?
Well, I think this is good from Arsenal because I think Ramsdale is one of them guys that don't like he doesn't shut down. He would thrive off it. The fact that there's like look at his performance in the last game as well against City. He was very good. He was very good, and he'll make him play better because he wants to keep his team. And he's very vocal, and I'm pretty sure he's one of the leaders, like vocal people in the dressing room. Raya coming in is going to boost levels. They can learn off each other as well. They're a bit different in that way. It's a win-win situation, in my opinion. In a year's time, that's another headache to fill out. You know what happens there? Is someone happy to be number two? Is one going to play in just cup competitions, Champions League? One's going to play Premier League. But then it's you got to handle that ego, and that's Arteta's job. But when you look at Tottenham, you've got Vicario, who probably looks more like a second goalkeeper. Maybe he might become the next best thing. Who knows, right? And then Raya's gone there. Chelsea, Kepa's not exactly the biggest goalkeeper. He's not that much bigger than flipping Raya. Raya's like 6'1". He's not that short. He's still stopped a lot of goals. And I think Chelsea fans don't like the fact that the only thing that Raya and Kepa have in common that they can't save long shots. But no one's doing no Sanchez prop. But Sanchez is not a number one goalkeeper. Raya is the number one goalkeeper for what it is. So that's the way I look at it. And I think it's just a bit of a missed trick for those rivals there. Even my club, I wanted Raya at the start of the window because I didn't think we were going to go for a Nana. I wanted him because I was sick of De Gea.
I just think at the end, one of them will have to be sold this year, next year. Sorry, not this year, the year next year. The reason why, when you have two international goalkeepers, it's impossible based on the history to keep both happy. I've
Yep.
never seen it in my life. Listen, Raya wants to go to the Euros. Ramsdale wants to go to the Euros. Ramsdale wants to be the number one. Look at his performance against Man City. I'm not sure how you can keep both happy. I haven't seen it, especially because both of them are kind of the same age. Is it 25 and 25 or 26 and 25? Like, it's not like you're replacing someone who's 33 and the 24 is gonna learn and take the goalkeeper spots from him. No, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
And
precisely.
I want to, since we have Sava here, I know they want to wrap up, but I really want to talk about the Kane situation. And if he goes, what's next for Spurs? Because, listen, I watched your preseasons, and yesterday he didn't play. And yesterday I said Richarlison shouldn't be a football player in the Premier League, in my opinion. This is my opinion.
Yeah,
This is my opinion. Listen, you like it, you hate it. I saw Richarlison yesterday for you was lost. Like, everybody else looked okay, which was second team, if I'm not Reguilon and Perisic. And
I mean, would you say everyone looked okay? I thought we played very, very well against the Spanish champions without a first 11 out.
I said yesterday in the show, Skip, Crass in the H. Yes, they were good. I still like Pedro Porro was a little bit poor defensively, I thought.
Very poor defensively.
Very poor defensively.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, Harry Kane, the Harry Kane situation is just rumbling on and on and on. It's getting really, really boring. For me, I've said this all summer. Kaz will have heard me say this all summer. Either sign a contract or sell him. Like, for me, there's no halfway house. You can't be in a position where you lose Harry Kane for free next year. I think that is just gross negligence, incompetence, whatever you want to call it. You can't let him go on a free. Bayern are going to come back in. I think we'll be fine when he goes. People have got to remember, for the last 4 or 5 years, everything Spurs have done has revolved around Harry Kane. All the build-up play, all the chances, everything goes to Harry Kane. You can see already from a Postecoglou formation and set of play, not everything will go through the main striker. You'll have something going down the left, down the right, attacking midfielders, the defensive midfielders bombing on, getting into the box. I think what might be best, if he's not going to sign a new contract, sell him, bring in a young striker like a Gift Orban, and build as a team rather than a Harry Kane team. So I'm not bothered if he goes. If he goes, and then it allows us to buy a Tapsoba and a Gift Orban, for example, I'm fine with it. But it's just really boring as a Spurs fan now, having this thing hanging over our heads 24/7. And the last thing I'll say on it, if he does stay, but doesn't sign a new contract, we're going to have this all season. Will he, won't he? Will he, won't he at the end of the year? It's just going to be so boring.
Harry Kane might be the difference between you making Champions League or not, in my opinion.
So
that's a lot of money involved.
But not enough to lose him on a free.
Well, how much is Champions League worth for you? 80 million, 50 million, 70 million?
No. So you get 102 million if you reach the final of the Champions League. So don't forget, that will be the following season. If Kane walks, let's assume Kane walks on a free, but he got us Champions League. By the way, it wouldn't just be Kane, it would be the whole team. So right now we're going into that Champions League season without Harry Kane. Yeah. And you only get the £102 million if we get to the final, which will be very, very unlikely.
Okay,
well,
then.
Man, there it is, man. It's wrapped up there. We got another super chat. No. By the way, guys, if you ain't liked this video, make sure you like it right now. It'd be much obliged. Before we wrap up as well. Big up Sava for coming on. He's going to be here every single week on a Wednesday, unless he gets ill or Harry Kane decides to bomb his house, or Daniel Levy decides to sue him for defamation of character, baby.
Possibly.
It's not out of his depth. But yeah, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you check out Sava's channel in the pinned or the description. It's up to you. He talks all sorts of football, not just Tottenham content as well. If you like the way he talks, then clearly you can go on his channel and listen to him there as well. So big up everyone. Make sure you smash the like on the way out. Check out the membership. And yeah, man, big up to all the new members too. You can call in out of context, Mo.